My guest is Professor Anthony Salah. He is chairman of the board of Korle-Bu Teaching Hospital. You may well know that Korle-Bu has been in the news lately for all the bad reasons. Remember the misappropriation revelations of about some 900,000 and over Ghana cedis. Following that, number of persons have also been interdicted. But how is Korle-Bu doing, really? Is there some kind of mafia there? He would know because he chairs the board. So, Prof, thank you for your time.
Okay. As you are aware, following the forensic audit report, we engaged in due process, and eventually we interdicted the director of pharmacy because it happened under her watch, and all the other people who were involved in handling cash. So for now, everything is quiet. The CEO appointed an acting director, or basically the person who used to be the assistant director. She's the one acting now. So everything is quiet for now.
But what happens to those interdicted? Because when persons are guilty of something, of an act like that, we expect some prosecution to go on.
We have two things going on now. For those interdicted, especially the director of pharmacy, we are setting up an administrative review committee. The committee is yet to be inaugurated. Hopefully we'll do that by Friday or early next week. And then they will go through the procedure and then talk to the director of pharmacy. And we have also referred the case to the Criminal Investigation Unit, the BNI, and then YOCO. They will take it up and then interview the respective people involved. And that is when guilt may be established or no guilt may be established. But we know for sure that 946,000 Ghana cedis is missing. So somebody took that money. As to who took it, I don't know. And that is the work for the investigative authorities, the BNI and the YOCO. They will know. And once they know, that's when the determination is going to be made whether to prosecute or not.
So what is it about Korle-Bu? Is there some kind of mafia there?
I wouldn't characterize it as being, that the place is being run by some mafioso group. But then we know that's the complete systems failure there. Things don't work. So once things don't work, there is chaos, people take advantage of it. But as to whether it is organized crime, as we call mafia, I don't know. There may be as well, or there may not be. But then we know that things are not working the way they should work. And once things are not working that way, we have problems. Systems not functioning properly.
Why are the systems not functioning properly?
Well,
you've got a CEO.
Yes.
You have a board.
Yeah.
You've got managers. I mean, it's just like any other business.
Yes. Why they're not working? Well, to his credit, the CEO, Dr. Buckle, we confirmed him on last Thursday at the board meeting. To his credit, and then to the credit of the board, other members of the board, we said, okay, go in there, do an assessment. Let's see what is wrong. You know that to solve a problem, the first key thing is problem identification. If you don't identify the problem, you don't solve it. So he spent the first 3 months going around, and then we identified some of the key problems. I mean, the problems are huge, humongous, but then we plan to solve them. And so after identifying the problems, we had meetings with all the various heads, the directors, and then the different units. They met, they identified the problem, and each group came and made a presentation to the whole group. So let's say obstetrics and gynecology, medicine, child health. Okay, let me just say the three. So they came in there with all the other units. There were about close to 200 heads, and there are close to 200 heads of departments and their assistants. They made a presentation. So gynecology will make its presentation, and then that gave opportunity to child health, pediatrics, X-ray, and so on to say, okay, gynae, did you look at A, B, C, and D? You did not. This is what we suggest. Okay, so formally, nothing like that ever took place in Korle-Bu. But now all the different components, they are all talking. And they all came into one room to criticize or to critique the presentation or the problem identification.
Of each other.
Exactly.
Okay.
So we did that. And now we said, okay, you've done that with your colleagues, your peers. Go back to your departments and present the same thing with these modifications to your departments, and let's see how they also want the problems to be solved. And after that, then it's going to be their work. Okay, this is the way they think the problem should be solved. So rather than hire a consultant and pay a consultant 500,000 or 80,000 and so on, we say, no, you do that yourself. Then they are going to bring it to the board, and then we're also going to discuss it and have a totally strategic framework with outcomes and measurable outcomes and so on. And then we take it from there. So that's what we plan to do.
So the problems are many.
A lot.
Is it only financial, or you've got...
Oh, no, not only financial, even operational. For example, let me give you, let's say a cleaner comes to work. Okay, he's supposed to clean, let's say, the bathrooms. Okay, we call them toilets, okay, 4 times a day to make the place very, very clean. Question, does he do it or does she do it? We don't have measurable outcomes.
So nobody is watching, nobody is monitoring.
Precisely. So that is why the system has broken down. And once we're able to fix that, okay, we know, okay, a cleaner, when you come to work, you're supposed to clean the bathroom 4 times. Who is the cleaner supervisor? You have to go and check to make sure that the bathroom has been cleaned 4 times during that shift. Because if you don't, what happens?
Your predecessor couldn't stay. What makes you think that you can survive this?
Well, my predecessor is a different person. I'm also a different person. We have different personalities. We have different ways of doing things. So I don't know why he couldn't stay, but then I plan to stay. And but I'm going to stay.
Do you understand very well the problems there, the challenges?
Well, to a very, very large extent. As of now, you know, we got inaugurated, this 16th September?
September,
yeah,
2014.
September. Okay, September 2014. So October, November, December, January. So only 4 months. But we've done a lot so far.
So how is Korle-Bu today?
Well, I think Korle-Bu is moving up today, as of today, because now we have identified the problems. We have prescribed solutions, and we're going to start implementation. And implementation is going to start from March. We're going to start the various components, the various implementation techniques. So I think we are on a forward march. You
may know the relationship that management has with the workers, because previously it wasn't very good. Okay. So what's the relationship now? Well, I've just told you about going through the work plan, or problem identification, prescribed solutions, etc. So the manager is on top there, and he's come down to the level, to the unit level, and they're all discussing it. So it is their plan. It is that particular unit's plan. So let's just say security. Okay? The security manager is there, and there are people under him. And for example, we determine, we notice through this analysis that security people work 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. That's 72. What I know is 40 hours. So they're doing less time? No, more. That's 72, right? Okay. 6 times 12, that gives me 72. 72. So why should somebody work 72 hours? To me, it's not fair. And through job analysis, we realize that we may need 20 more security guards. So that is a step. Do you have the capacity for that in terms of cost? Oh, yeah. So, yeah, we have the capacity to pay 20 security guards. Sure. Because that's part of the work. I mean, security is security for patients, security for workers, and security for patients' relatives, and security for property. So we cannot play with security. It's very, very important. I've heard your predecessor in a very recent interview. In fact, after the forensic audit revelations, I've heard him say that the problem at Korle-Bu is a people problem, and it extends even to the ministry. I'm just wondering if you understand, back to the issue of how broad this whole challenge could be for you. Oh yeah, it's a management issue.
as I said, it's a management issue. Management issue is a people's issue. It's a systems. People are managing, right? So it's a management issue. Let me give you an example. When it comes to management, you are managing people, you are managing systems, and so on. So if the systems are not straightforward or are not well realigned, you're going to have problems. So the key thing is that first you identify the systems. Where are the bottlenecks? What is not working? Do we have enough information? Okay. Do we have data? So with enough information, enough data, then we can take decisions. We can be far-reaching, but will seem to be fair, and it is scientifically based. And that's what we are going to be doing. So, for example, if I say, okay, let me know how many people have been to OPD today. I want the number. I cannot get it. Somebody will have to go and tally the number. So how can I make a decision when I don't even know how many people have been to OPD? Okay, or how many people are supposed to be at OPD and be working? I don't know.
Whose responsibility is that?
Well, that should be, okay, I don't want to be like, I'm taking on OPD. I'm just mentioning OPD as an example.
I get it.
So the responsibility should be the responsibility of the director of OPD, whoever is the boss, because he has to manage OPD. The CEO cannot be everywhere. So that is why we have the directors, and then with the directors, then management sets overall policy, the board sets overall policy, management implements. And management will have to deal with all the other people at the sub-levels. Okay, so even if management says, the board says the overall policy, and management is supposed to be implementing, but then we don't have measurable outcomes, matrices by which we can hold the manager responsible, nothing gets done, like in any other organization.
You know, it's difficult to understand.
Okay.
Because I go to a private hospital.
Yes.
You enter and there's an administrative person. There's the first point of call. There's a computer where every data is entered into. So at the end of the day, I mean, I think it's just natural that with that process, you would know how many people enter the hospital and what they were treated for and which doctor attended to who and all that.
Excellent. That is what we are trying to do. That is what we don't have. That's what we are trying to do. That's why I'm saying that it should be data-driven.
How old is Korle-Bu? And isn't that very basic?
It's, I think Korle-Bu 1925, Gorgesburg. I think we said Korle-Bu was founded in 1925. Yes, but then we don't have that basic data. So if you don't have that basic data, how do you take decisions? Even if you take decisions, they are going to be flawed.
Shouldn't you be prescribing a complete overhaul?
Sure, that's what we are doing. That's what we are developing the system.
Even with human resource.
Excellent. That's what we are doing. That's what we're saying, that we have identified the problems and we have identified the system failure, and we are going to have prescriptions. And that's what they are doing themselves, and they are bringing it up, and we're also going to add our inputs, and then we move on. And I can tell you, and take this down, a year or 2 years from now, as we always say, we are always joking, the chief executive jokes, people who want to be sick to come to Korle-Bu to experience that great transformation that is taking place in Korle-Bu. And you take it from me, it's going to happen.
Amazing.
Yes, a year or two from now, people want to be sick, and I'm sure you will not go to that private hospital. You come to Korle-Bu and say, hey, my man, I'm here. So that's what we want to do.
Do you believe in your CEO? Do you think that he can do the job?
Oh, he's great. I mean, he is phenomenal. He's great. He can do the job, at least for what he has demonstrated so far. He can do the job. And we talk almost daily. He's great. I have no doubt that he can do the job. He's great.
So, Korle-Bu, you know, people come from outside the borders to come to Korle-Bu. Yes. Is it not sad that Korle-Bu will be making headlines in Ghana today, and our news items on the internet and everywhere? Korle-Bu is making headlines for all the bad reasons. How does that make you feel as board chair?
Well, for all the bad reasons, but then the good reasons are going to be coming pretty soon. I'm sure a month or two from now, you'll be reporting about good things coming from Korle-Bu. So it's not only the bad things that will be coming out, but the good things are also going to be coming out. Water, issues about water, issues about sanitation, blocking of revenue leakages. We want to make Korle-Bu in a way that the government can reduce its subvention to Korle-Bu. That's what we want to do. So the government can use some of the money and then take care of other issues. So the overall thing, we want Korle-Bu to be self-sustaining. If that doesn't happen, then we have failed as a board. And I tell you, my colleagues, my board members, they are all up to the task. They are all committed. And even the people of Korle-Bu, the workers and the management, when we had all the meetings that I'm telling you about, they are all excited. People are motivated. All that they need is strong leadership, committed leadership, and dedicated board. And then.
And you think they have it now in you,
well,
in your members?
Oh yeah, they have it now, and very soon we are on the road to paradise. I can assure you that.
Let's talk about the power crisis. Just been wondering, how is that affecting the hospital? Does the hospital also go off? Are you on a certain schedule?
As of now, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. I think I don't think we have that power crisis.
Okay.
Yeah,
but do you have a comfortable backup plan
in case of a power shutdown? Oh yeah, we have. If you recall, some time ago there was a problem. I think one of the transformers blew and so on and so forth, and we had an emergency crisis there, and we said, okay, some of the things that require a lot of power, we may have to, some that don't require a lot of power, we may have to shut them down or reduce some operations and so on. So at least I know, but I've not, since then I've not gone to the hospital to check on that, I've known, yeah.
You mentioned water previously.
Yeah.
Can we talk about exactly what you're doing? Because you have such a big challenge with water.
We went in, we talked to some people about water, and they are willing to give their assistance, and through that we were able to know that some boreholes were there. But then the water that came out of the boreholes, they said it contains some chemicals which prevented the water being used in the surgical wards. You know, when you have surgery, you have a whole lot of other complications that can come. So the last thing you want is the water that is used is infecting somebody. So because of that, it's not being done. But then I've spoken to some other people who provide water, and they said they will assist in their various ways. But as you know, we get people giving us suggestions, etc. But then we have to also do due diligence to make sure that we don't commit Korle-Bu's resources into a venture which may not be, call it, profitable, or may not deliver the result that, may not deliver the desired outcomes that we expect. So we are very particular.
Ghana water is so not reliable.
Well, in the whole country, right?
Yeah, but I mean, Korle-Bu is such an important facility. That's essential service you're providing. Yes. So if the rest of the country is going through challenges, it shouldn't extend to, you know, Korle-Bu shouldn't be included.
Yes, but then we know that there's a challenge there, and we're trying to solve it. And we'll do that.
And I'm thinking that maybe behind closed doors you could have talks with Ghana Water.
Yeah, I recall, but then I cannot go into specifics here because I don't want to put up the wrong information out there. I recall the CEO had some discussions with them. Yes, I recall that. And I'm also telling the CEO that, okay, we need to move in some other directions to make sure that we complement the kind of the amount of water Ghana Water company provides Korle-Bu. So that's why the discussion with the boreholes and purification systems, etc., are taking place.
So we also want an update on the administrator who was either wrongfully dismissed, that the court now says reinstate, pay every money that you owe him.
If I recall, we want, at one of our board meetings, we wanted to know what is the problem with Korle-Bu with regard to cases in court. So we got a couple of cases, and we asked that the CEO should go and talk to the lawyer to settle some of these cases, because apart from the fact that it's taking manpower, money, and so on, it doesn't give Korle-Bu a good name. It doesn't give Korle-Bu a good name. Every time people are talking about Korle-Bu, today is this, tomorrow is this, and labor issues and so on. And one of the gentlemen if I recall correctly, the name is Korle-Bu, who was one of the an administrator, but not the chief executive.
Okay.
And last time I talked to the chief executive, the court case has been decided, and Korle-Bu owes him some amount of money, etc. But then I understand the court says he's gone back to, I think, the ministry, somewhere in the ministries, or working in the Ministry of Health somewhere. So it's not like they have kicked him out of Korle-Bu. So he still has his position in that ministry.
Okay.
But then, as you are aware, when he left, some other people also occupied their position. So what do? You kick them out? So those are some of the issues. But I know the issue with the money, there's an amount of money that we have to pay him. Yeah. But then the details, as regards that, you can check from the CEO and then the lawyer, because they know better.
Okay. So finally, can we talk about timelines for these new plans that you have?
Oh yeah, sure. Okay. We have decided as a board, and we asked the chief executive to check as to how this can be done. We realize that Korle-Bu workers, we think that when they are sick, they should be able to come to Korle-Bu for treatment, health benefits.
For now, that is not done?
That is not done, and we were horrified when we learned that. It's through these processes that we are learning things.
Don't they have the NHIS cards, for instance?
Oh, yeah,
don't they have medicals?
Yeah, they
so
have.
what do? They go to the hospital and you refund their monies?
No, as of now, I don't think they refund their monies. Because if they refund their monies, then that's a benefit. I don't think that's what happens. It's just like any other person with an NHS card will go to the hospital and you pay, etc. So we said, okay, well, we want to improve that, because to me, it's not proper that I'm working at a hospital and when I fall sick, I cannot go to the same hospital that I work. It's okay. So let's check what we can do. So that is being done. We also said, okay, let's see how we can give them provident fund. Okay, 5% of their salary, we match it with 5% or 3% of your salary. So they also have provident fund. So that's what we asked the chief executive and then the director of finance to work on, because that has to come from the IGF, internally generated funds, because you cannot use controllers' money to pay those benefits. So we are researching that. And you know, Korle-Bu has a lot of employees, so how much is it going to cost us, and so on and so forth. So we are going to do that, look at our revenue sources and our expenditure sources, cost recovery, which percentage are we recovering, etc. And once you do that, that will be able to come up with a policy as to how much Korle-Bu will be able to fund us.
Do you still have issues with ghost names?
Well, I can only call them ghost names if I find a ghost. And how do we do that? We have a whole list of employees, and we're going to do whatever we have to do to find out that.
Are they all really workers of Korle-Bu? Because I've heard that you have so many workers they couldn't possibly all be working for Korle-Bu.
Yeah, well, that's what we are going to find out. And we plan to do that. Yeah, that's going to happen. I just don't want to.
So this is also a challenge.
Oh, well, no, it's not a challenge. No, it's something we just want to cross-check. Because remember, if you're going to give money to the Provident Fund, you want to make sure that the person is working. You want to make sure that the person exists, and so on. So the first way of determining how many people really work for Korle-Bu is to do head count. And that's going to happen. Only that we have fixed a time, but then I don't want to talk about that. You know, I can't talk about the head count. And then there are other things that you can do to check ghost names. And it's very, very easy to check ghost names. Okay? Let's just say you have people who report to you. He has people who report to him. I have people who report to him. So at the end of the month, you just don't generate checks to everybody. I have to sign that for the past 3 weeks, all those 20 people who report to me, they are real people. You have to sign, and you have to sign that, okay. So once you do that and you put all together, then you eliminate ghost names. So ghost names can easily be eliminated. Wherever they come from, you can let them go back.
Unless there's something else that I missed that you want to tell us.
Just say that Korle-Bu's problems, they are daunting, but they are not insurmountable. They can be overcome. And this board is determined to overcome Korle-Bu's problems. And we have analyzed the problems already. We have made plans for the implementation, and there is a timeline, and we are going to achieve all these stated objectives. The key thing is that we want information systems and data sources and data. Our decisions are going to be based on data. People are going to be held accountable for what they are supposed to do. Remember, if you cannot measure it, then it cannot be done. That is the key. Everything should be measurable. If you cannot measure, it cannot be done. So that is our guideline: fairness, equity, and we'll take Korle-Bu to the promised land. That one, I tell you, 2 years from now, talk to me, and you say, oh, wow, you guys have achieved a lot, and we will.
Would you resign if you fail to?
If I fail to? Oh, yeah, sure. Sure, but then I don't fail. So far, I've not failed. Anything I plan to do, I just don't jump into it. I do it methodologically. Okay, what's my objective? At the end of every year or thing, I measure have I attained my objectives. If you have monitoring, you evaluate. Then you'll be proactive. And once you are proactive, you succeed. You are not going to be reactive, because being reactive, you can't get anywhere. So that is our key word, that the board is committed, the CEO is great, and all the board members are great. And so far, it's been fun.
One more thing.
All this bad press that we get about Korle-Bu, but then you go in there.
One more thing.
Okay.
What motivates you?
The desire to do good, not only for myself, for my friends or family, but for country. And we are determined that it's going to be done.
Okay. Thank you very much, Professor Anthony Salah, for your time.
Thank you very much for your time, and we appreciate it. Anytime.
Sure.
Thank you.